Hello and welcome back to the first episode of, what are we calling this, Tori? The Grilled Octopus Podcast.
The Grilled Octopus.
Geez, this is quality workmanship right here. You think I'd at least mute myself? So those people in the chat, this is why I need the nursing home to occasionally offer up an old person, just so I can actually have some some old hands behind me. Yes, but so we do have Terry Favreau here. I can't really read because my eyes are painted on. So how are you tonight?
Well, Terry just left. So hi guys, you'll have to put up with me.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm Tori, the Geelong Flipper. How you doing?
Yeah, that's good. You're good. No, it's good to see. So we do.
I know I've got to earn the right for you to know my name. Isn't that right?
Well, that's exactly right. So Grumpy Granny doesn't have a name. She just goes by Grumpy Granny. All the old ladies at the op shop go by Grumpy Granny as well. So I really don't know what's going on. But we do have a special guest here in addition to Tori tonight. We've got Boris, the resident garage ghost, if you will. You may
Poor Boris.
He was he wasn't loved in life, and nor is he is in his afterlife as well. But you may hear him occasionally pop in and say a couple of things. And if you do have a question about we have now
Boris. What's that?
Well, that was Boris just then. Did anyone hear that come through? You wanted to know, have we met? And it's like, well, we're just trying to introduce you, Boris, and it's a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. So if you do hear something in the background, like a screechy voice or something like that, I'm happy to tell you what he does say, but you might hear something in the background. So Boris, we'll say hello. Tori, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, guys, how you doing? I'm Tori Favreau. You might know me as the time eBay reseller, author, and I live in Geelong.
That's good. You didn't realise I turned you off for a minute, but
no, I did. All of a sudden, I just went. Whoop, whoop. That's all right. I don't know if the audio made its way through or not.
No, it didn't. But yeah, thank you very much for doing that. So we will say a quick hello to the chat, and we'll see what's going on with the other humans in the room per se. We do have I suppose. Well, it's Tori. We're trying to get through to that. What did you just say? Patient. Oh, geez, I'm trying to talk. Oh, he's asking me who it is. Then when obviously he's following it up with being patient. So Boris is going to be finding himself in the exorcism room pretty close. It could be even Grumpy Granny, to tell you the truth. I haven't heard from her for a while. So it mightn't be Boris after all. So
Granny, are you there?
Yeah. No, Grumpy Granny's a bit quiet now, so it is Boris. But the Disgruntled Octopus, evening humans, hope you're all well. Oh, I heard that guy's really, really, really ridiculously good looking, but we'll move on. Graham, I have missed this one. Well, you've missed, I don't know, Graham. You'll have to tell me a little bit further in the comments what you've missed. Black-Eyed Joe, all my ears are listening. Well, that's good. How many do you have, Joe? It's a bit hard to listen underwater, Joe. You should see. It might be a bit better. Got my bag of marshmallows ready to roast them. That's good.
I don't know if that's an analogy.
Christian's apparently first, even being the ninth comment in the chat. Kate, hello, Kate. How are you? Ledbetter, how are you going, mate? Hilly, we're Australia podcast event of 2025. I think we're getting close. Yeah, that's right. I think we're getting close to being the only podcast in Australia at the moment. They keep dropping off. I notice they pop up. Yes, I know you're in the dark, but keep quiet.
So am I at the moment.
I will continue, but thank you, Boris. I don't know if it's coming through very clear. And next time we do a podcast, we'll give Boris his own microphone so it comes through a little bit clearer. But he just told me I'm allowed to continue, so thank you very much. As we were getting to, like I said, we're getting Boris ready behind the scenes. He wasn't playing the game, and obviously, apparently he's got better things to do in the afterlife. It's all quiet in the room. Well, not with Boris around, Linda. He's got my sunglasses on, so not burn your eyes. Well, that's good. Well, Tori is ridiculously good looking for a 90-year-old, so it's you better put more than your shades on. It's like looking in an eclipse. Sandra's in. Hello, Sandra. Another Sandra. Geez, we're collecting the set. Yeah, we've only got another 149 Sandras to go. We can have the whole set.
I'm just waiting while you say hello to all of my channel membership.
Well, we're trying to sponge them across. Joe's back again. Thumbs up, people. Yes, well, if you're that way inclined. I can't actually see what the thumbs up are, so it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Starry Wolf. Hilly just got home and is about to run in and turn the telly on. Well, that's good. Oops. Swags the dog. Is that one of your guys, Tori?
Pretty much nearly everyone here is.
Yes, Grumpy Granny has had a glow up. She's got herself a manicured beard this time, not like a random stray hair. Like
that's just the camera flattering me. It's a shaggy mess at the moment.
The Franklin Flipper wants to know what happened to GG. Well, I do have a bit of a story with Grumpy Granny. So she did tell me to tell you all this. So I'm not talking out of turn. She did tell me a couple of weeks ago when I suppose Minion J did say what was going on with Grumpy Granny, but Grumpy Granny had some, I won't say, or probably family friends issues. A friend of hers, her son was involved in an accident and was going to court, which will basically most likely result on some sort of jail time for this. I think he was like 18, 19-year-old kid. So Grumpy Granny was helping her friend, obviously build the case, build a bit of a defense and all these different things. So like I said, I'm not talking out of turn. She has told me I'm allowed to tell you this, but I haven't heard since the trial. So I dare say that the amount of energy she put into it, she's probably a little bit burnt out. I have sent some messages to her since, but I haven't heard back. But she was doing well when I spoke to her. What? Angel? Well, hopefully she's not an angel. I didn't think she'd be going up there. But anyway.
Send me an angel.
But that's where Grumpy Granny's been. So like I was saying, is that she's been assisting a friend with a court case. I don't know the outcome. She was going to reach out to let me know what it was. But I dare say it's probably gone a little bit worse than what she was expecting. So she's probably taking some time off and she'll come back eventually. Michelle, hello, Octo and Tori. It's good to see you, Michelle. Evening Hubies and Sea Lives. Yes, good shorts. Oh, Uncle Wayno's here as well. Uncle Wayno's lives. Haven't seen him for a while. He last time I seen him, he was moving CDs in and out of his new house. This is going to be a weekly thing. Oh, I'm not too sure at the moment, Christian. You'll have to let me know what you're doing next week, mate, because I might need a new person to pick on, because Tori's already sent me messages offline saying, please, just let me finish. Not exactly. Well, don't tell them. You're not supposed to ruin the joke. Jeez, Boris, calm down. Okay, so Care Bears rule, apparently. Yeah, well, each to your own. What the hell am I watching? Well, that's a very good question, Twin Cross Media. You obviously haven't been here before. She could be quite possibly cooking mushrooms. Maybe I misinterpreted who was actually going to jail. It wasn't her friend's son after all. Graham, it's okay to cook calamari. Yes, you can have calamari. So Uncle Wayno was going to go live in his usual time slot. So for those that don't know, Uncle Wayno used to do a live show at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, probably about 16 years ago. And we haven't seen him since. So if you look outside and you see a full moon, there's a good chance an Uncle Wayno TV show is going to come out on YouTube. So that's how you can work out what the Uncle Wayno the release schedule is. But so Tori, with your I suppose your Geelong Flipperness, I suppose I want to talk a little bit about reselling. I've got to be careful what I say because I've ingested a lot of content today and I've become very opinionated on courses and mentor groups. And I've actually unfortunately seen someone that I've actually really enjoyed in the last, I suppose, month or so. They've actually just put out a paid membership themselves. So I'm kind of running low on. I'm kind of running low on people that I could actually resonate with and actually recommend for people to watch because it's become almost like a plague across YouTube. So I think before, and what I have said numerous times, I have no problem with people doing channel memberships, people doing those different things. Myself and Grumpy Granny have done channel memberships in the past. I think you've got yours, which is perfectly fine. But what I pulled the line at is when people, they kind of do like a tech and sports light or a daily refinement light group. So it's almost like where they get their information from, daily refinement or tech and sports, and then they run their own mentor group the next day. And there's apparently a couple of Australians that are running their own courses as well. So suppose want to get the chat's opinion on this, and I already know Uncle Wayne knows. But what about yours, Tori? What? How do you feel about this?
Look, to be honest, guys, at the end of the day, I started this channel up. Whether you like my content or not, that's fine, and it's your own opinion. I am totally against a lot of the people who are offering courses and stuff. My big thing has always been make sure that if people are going to offer you financial advice, make sure they actually can offer you financial advice. I don't think a lot of people are in the position to give the advice that they're giving because they're telling you how to spend your money, and it sits wrong with me. So that's my thought, Octo. If someone's got the finances or the financial industry knowledge to have that stuff and to put it forward, then go for it. But otherwise, I think we should all just be having fun, telling each other about changes and developments within eBay, things to look out for at thrift shops or how different ways of sourcing material. There's a whole wealth of information that we can share with each other in a positive fashion without, one, hiding it behind the paywall, and two, without misleading or coming up with hacks for how to buy stuff that just aren't actually factual.
Yeah, and I suppose I want to speak English first, but I do want to put a caveat with it in the sense that I don't necessarily agree or resonate with, that everything should be free, or that, you should be spending your time, helping people, assisting people all the time, all those different things. That's obviously an independent creator's point of call, and they work out from that perspective. And that's what channel memberships are for. If you want to support them with a super chat, or if you want to give them a couple of dollars a month for what they're doing, so be it. But like you're saying, is that there is one American YouTuber that I don't think anyone in here will know, so I'll be very coy about what I'm saying about them. But to me, they're on the scale of dream. I wish I could dream. But the thing is, the fact of the matter is, this person's like, I won't say parasitic, but they've gone through 3 or 4 reiterations of their eBay store and their YouTube channel in the last 3 months. So now they're punched out a $40 US Discord. You can actually go there and get the tips and all these different things. And I think they're pulling in less than $6,000 or $7,000 American a month. So to me, that's nothing impressive. Like if people are pulling in hundreds of $1,000s a month, and they want to engage you in a mentor program, by all means, if you want to do like a one-on-one mentorship where Tori and I talk 3 or 4 times a week and we go from that way, that's perfectly fine. I've got no issues with that. But when you're claiming $40, $50 off 1,000 people, how are you supposed to provide some sort of mentoring responsibilities to them? So
yes, 100%.
Yeah, and even limiting it. But like I said, I kind of really, really, really pisses me off in that respect. So please do not do courses. Please, if you see mystery boxes, if like YouTubers, and this is not. I gotta be. No, it's not book bloke. I've got to be careful. Every time I talk about this, it makes it think I'm talking about the two Aussie thrifters, and it's not Brad and Jazz. By all means, please don't think it's them. But
I've got nothing but love for those guys.
Yeah, so like I said, Brad and Jazz, Brad and Wayno and Judder and all, we talk on a daily basis. But when people go, hey, now I'm only specialising in Skylanders, come buy my stuff that I bought 3 years ago. That's insult. No, don't do that. If they got a business model that, hey, look, we don't sell any clothing under $50. Anything like goes into pre-sort boxes, that's perfectly fine, because you know what you're getting, and they've got the clout behind them. So, like I said, it's a bit of a choose your own adventure. I don't want it to be like a do as Octo says and goes from that way. And buy lots and lots of Skylanders, as you can see behind me. No, Jada. Jada, fucking Peachy. What your name is? I really need to get a hang of the lives again. It's been a while since I've done one. She wanted to study law when she went to uni. I guess she'd be an excellent support. Yeah, so I assume you're talking about Grumpy Granny there, Sandra. But like I was saying, is I called her a Nana version of Matlock, and I think she hung up on me. So it's good to see that she's going good. But like I was saying, is that she was quiet when I spoke to her. I spoke to her about a week and a half before the trial. The trial was about a fortnight Thursday ago, and she was quite exhausted, to say the least. And she said that she wants to come back to YouTube, so it's just a matter of time. Like I said before, she goes to the convent, or she goes on a sabbatical, whatever you want to choose. She's still upright and breathing. Uncle Wayne and Sandra are having a pash off. I need to do a channel membership.
Far out.
It gets a little cold down Maui. Need to do a channel membership. Oh, well, you're going to upload every 3 months. I didn't realize that. Maybe that's why Minion Jay's doing his uploads on the. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, calm down, Boris. Oh, I can't say. Well, it is incorrect because don't just ignore Boris. Yeah, if he's going on a little tangent. Sure you were, Uncle. Okay, we've got to catch up. Just the Aussie way, help out mates without payments. Yeah, like I said, Twin Cross Media is that I don't mind the occasional question on Instagram. When I first started talking about Skylanders, my Instagram inbox was just completely. It's probably similar to what Tori is with his bloody Care Bears, and we will get onto that unhealthy obsession a little bit later, Tori. But what I find is that my plastic toys are immensely more important than your little Care Bears. So we can take
100%.
It's going to be a one-way conversation in regards to that. Thank you. There's going to be no.
Oh, look, it'll be over quickly. I think ever since the Flip family got behind these, no one's seen them in an op shop ever since. It's like they're near impossible to find, guys. So yeah. Oh, that's a bolo. You can find it in my $40 a month course.
That's right. Yeah, it's a bolo, and you can send it to Tori for free. So you're going to sell it for $40.
Correct.
But yeah, and we will talk about marketing and advertising because I do think it's pretty good. Is it Jova? I don't know who Jova is. One of them, Peachy, but not the American. Love your background, the Uncle Flip. Yeah, so you got your green screen on, mate. I can see the little top left or top right.
Yeah. I've just got a little green screen behind me. I thought instead of just having the little bit of core flute that I have in my own lives, I've put the thing there. I don't think you can do it on YouTube, but we're using What is it?
StreamYard. So
StreamYard. There you
go. Minion Jay. Yeah, when the video that he did walking up the hill and consequently dying had to be revived. Yeah, by an old Asian lady walking past. That gave us a bit of ad revenue, so we can actually afford StreamYard for a week when it's a free trial. Look at us go. $90 a week, $19 a month for US for StreamYard now. So if you are looking at going to YouTube to sell $40, $50 courses, maybe I'll have to start selling $90 courses to pay for it.
So someone subscribes and pays for it.
The Aussie Flipper will think you're the number one fan. Probably he's got lots of number fan. Hates me as long as I talk the truth. Turns out people don't like the truth, and that's right. Yeah, we do that across the board. Like I said before, I normally don't resonate with people that I think are full of bullshit. So yeah, to say the least. Talks about how it is. Hates him too. That's the old saying.
We're going to go through a chat of people saying so-and-so hates me. They just bloody hate me.
Exactly right. Why can't people hate me? I remember the good old days when move out of my way. Well, I'm sitting down. You can move around me. Jeez, Boris, calm your farm. Did you get blocked the other day, Peachy? Well, Peachy gets blocked on a lot of channels. I think it's Peachy's got to have to create more YouTube channels just to keep up with everyone. But I think, to be honest, Jans, I think everyone's been blocked from the Aussie Flipper, to tell you the truth. But hey, it's he's just had to say that. But yeah. Anyway, Tori, so your Care Bears, tell us a little bit about those.
Look, they're just it's actually a really good question. Being straightforward, and I think it feels weird talking about it now, but I will talk about it. So I like them because they resonate with me. I've got thank you, Octo. I've got a touch of the tism, and so colourful stuff like that. Just it's a bit of a soothing thing, but I do like them. They're happy. It's not complicated, and I just think that they do bring back a childhood innocence for a lot of people who may not have had the greatest of childhood. So it's just something nice to look back at, and they're fun. They make a good backdrop. So. Yeah. So you're also a fan of tism as well, is that right? Yes, this is serious, Mum. Absolutely. Yeah, like Uncle Wayne doesn't stop talking about them. Like, one day I'll go on Spotify and listen to what they do. But so you do mention you are neurodivergent, so you do have, I suppose, a speck of autism and quite healthy dose of ADHD, if I do say so myself. But how do you actually find that assists you, or I suppose works against you, or assists? Yep. You're watching me. I've
A lot of people. Well, yeah. If you hope you're watching me, there's about 48 people in the chat. But thank you, Boris. Sorry, go on.
It says something like, "I'm watching you." Hi ho.
That's what he did. He said, "I'm watching you," and I didn't catch the other one. I thought it said, "I know," but he's doing his own. So let me know in the comment section if it's only me that can hear Boris. I'm trying to keep the microphone as close as I can. So he just came through then and said, "Only for you." So do let me know. Yobble Wenker. Being blocked by Matt, he's too precious. Yeah, like I said, let him block who it is. He's obviously doing something right because he's got more subscribers than me. Maybe that's what we're doing wrong, Tori. Maybe we need to just block people left, right, and centre just to get up to 50,000.
You know what? I think that it'll all come in time, Octo. You're doing a good job, and you're good for the community, so it'll happen in time. And yes, you're going to say, "No, I'm not, because I'm going to be the wibble wobble emperor of the world." But
well, no,
you're doing a good job.
Benevolent dictator. Obviously, I've got to do the benevolent right. So.
Are you looking for props? What the hell are you doing there?
Yeah, I don't know. Boris just told me, how do I use it? We'll talk about the bird and the bees a bit later, Boris. So get back to what we're doing. Thank you. But
right, so jumping back into topic.
That's right. That's exactly right. Maybe he said undoubtedly, but
that thing is the worst for ADHD. It's like, let's maintain a conversation. Oh, I'm going to talk spooky. Oh, what's it saying?
Right. Yeah,
what's it saying?
Yeah, so we'll get back to the ADHD thing. I have taken my medication tonight, thank you. But we're going to be. Don't touch me.
Wow.
We'll leave that to Tori after the live. But yeah, Boris, you can touch me when I'm asleep, mate. I appreciate that. But yes, getting back to the story, Tori.
Okay, so here's the deal. I guess with a lot of us too, we're getting diagnosed later and later, and things weren't matching up. I was going through jobs or being dissatisfied and leaving. My longest job, if you want to say, was 8 years in the military. I did enjoy it, but got married and left. And then, just recently it started to fall into place that like my brain is going all over the place all the time. And it sometimes makes it difficult to focus on one particular task. And when I got the diagnosis and we worked through it all, it kind of made sense. It's like sort of a superpower, but also a hindrance. So I think for me, it results in a fair bit of time wasted. And I have to sometimes put notes or give myself, I always talk on my show about how I've got rules for certain things. And so I have those almost as a little mantra to assist me from getting through the day. On a positive side, some of you guys may or may not know, they're self-published. I've got 11 novels on Amazon, and I think it's the autism that actually lets me write 4 or 5 books at the same time. And I can stay focused when I'm on one task, but then it's like, okay, I'll write 3,000 words in that book. Oh, I thought of an idea for that one, so I'm going to jump over there now. And I need to post that stuff because, customers. So it can be a bit of a jumble, and sometimes it will. I think other people on the spectrum will sort of resonate with this. It's like I think a lot of people with autism and other bits and pieces, they've got that sense of justice or trying to make sense of things that they don't understand. And so it's like I have spoken out a fair bit lately about these courses and content providers. And I don't do it, but I don't like it, but it feels like I sometimes can't help myself. I just want to, because I'm like, I care about the Aussie reselling community is a really strong community. I believe so anyhow. And I think with what you're doing, what we're achieving in the Geelong Flipper family, it's like people who genuinely care about each other. So it's a bit of a tough thing. And I think the autism sometimes makes it a bit hard to power through it all.
That's not very nice. He just asked you if you were disfigured, but I think you look handsome, quite handsome there, Tori. But I can kind of resonate.
Do my best.
Yeah, I know. I just spilled cough lollies all over the ground, so it's special here. But yeah, I can kind of resonate with that, and I think you've articulated it pretty well as to what I'm like as well. Maybe I'm serious with Mum as well. I'm not too sure, but when you said obviously you kind of you're trying to control yourself, kind of hold yourself back, trying to give you your 2 cents worth about things that you're quite passionate about, like especially the online courses and all these different things. It can be taken both ways. Realistically, there are diehard fans in either camp and all those different things. And even in the group chats that I'm in, when I do get pretty heated about it, I'm kind of like, I need to control myself. I need to hold myself back. The next thing, all 8 tentacles are going for crazy, giving War and Peace about why, this is bullshit and what's going on from that perspective. So I do definitely resonate from that way. But do you find that it makes you have like shiny object syndrome? And what I'm finding a lot with your videos as well, and this is why I suppose I wanted to grill you a little bit. I thought I'd warm you up a little bit before I got into
Please do.
to the slice and dice. Is that,
yeah, absolutely. Anyone can ask any questions, by the way.
Well, that's right. We will have an open mic later on. You can come in and tell me how fantastic I am and how manicured Tori is. But I suppose, and the comments in the section are probably going to flay me for this, because I do see that the Franklin Flipper puts his weekly thrifting videos out and all these different things. I've kind of moved away from the thrifting scene, the op shop scene, and I do notice Tori, and I notice a lot of other people go to the thrift shops. I know Christian, I know Peachy and yourself. Do you think that your time could be spent in better places to make it more profitable? I suppose is probably a long way of saying it.
Yeah. Look, it's a good question. There's a catch-22 to it. For me, I chose reselling for a number of reasons, but part of it was to make it that I was enjoying my life more than what I was previously. So there are ways of automatically sourcing stock, and they're out there and they're valid, and I do need to look into them. But for me, I get a bit of, I don't know the term for it, but a bit of shut-in syndrome. I have to go out. Otherwise, I can't do a day at home. Even if I just go down to the shops, I have to leave the house at least once a day. We've got an incredibly small home, so it's nice to get outside. And I do like also, I love op shopping. I like seeing what people think, is no longer valid. And I like trying to breathe life back into that and make a buck doing it too. It's, it's a sometimes scary, but it's also a lot of fun when there's not a lot of other income coming in. It's just, I think it's learning to buy better, and some of the stuff I buy, I do still scratch my head, but it's bright and shiny, like you said.
Yeah, no. He says, I was just thinking about your Care Bears, and he said he wants one. So maybe Boris might put an order in for a Care Bear later on. But yeah, like I said, I can resonate with that. And to be truthfully honest, I think Minion Jay may have brought it up in the podcast previously, or maybe in a previous video, is that I went full time a couple of years ago. I think it was about 2021, 22. I went full time for about 18 months. My 90-day sale, probably, I want to say a third of what it is now, me being full time, doing thrifting every day. So I was doing I've just fallen below 50K for 90 days. I was probably, when I was doing full time, I was doing clothing. I was very scatterbrained. This was before I was diagnosed with autism, probably that as well, ADHD. And what I was doing is I was going to the thrift shop, picking up copious amounts of jeans. I hate clothing, as I've said numerous times, and I've told Tori's as much as in his lives as well. That it wasn't until I had structure and I actually started my 90 days started going up. The profit margin was becoming healthy. I started enjoying eBay again. So before I was doing, went full time, I was pretty heavy in the Lego space. And I have said this numerous times on the channel, and I was doing probably $60,000, $70,000 every 3 months of Lego. Profit margin is not exactly massive on Lego, because you are doing a lot of retail arbitrage. You're doing a lot of buying it directly through eBay, Lego.com, having it shipped to Australia through Bricklink, is what Tori probably knows as well. And a lot of your money on Lego becomes from promotional sets, because people are too lazy to buy the threshold. You might have to spend $200 to get a free set, which you can sell for $100 on eBay and all those different things. So that 100%. Was primarily, that was pretty much my Lego business. And like I was saying, I was quite consistent. I was quite happy because all the stock was coming to me. When I started thrifting full time, I would do like maybe 3 or 4 op shops a day, because I was quite heavily into the tech and sports model, where you have to be first in the line and do 18 thrift shops in a day, then list 418 items a day, and all these different things. And for me, and for my personality, and probably licking windows and licking elbows and the end of my tentacles of everything else I do on a daily basis, what I was finding is I was coming home and putting it off. I was becoming burnt out. I was becoming very lethargic and all these different things, and I wasn't actually listing. And it became to the point where my 90-day total became $13,000, $14,000, which is quite Not not a good place to be if you're, we had dual income. My wife, or Mrs. Octopus, does work full time. She has a healthy wage, but we pretty much went from me being the most healthiest out of those two wages, being probably the more senior wage, to halving that, then becoming to the point where that $13,000-$14,000 over a 90-day period was being reinvested into stock, because I wasn't on top of how quickly clothing sells through. The stuff that I buy now, and Dave's in the chat as well, he can probably tell, is that it clears out quite quickly. Skylanders, to me, they're quite hot at the moment. They sell out quite quickly. If I go buy a pair of jeans like Minion J did the other week, they still haven't been listed. They're sitting in a box with Tori Favreau written on the top, because I want them out of my house. Regardless if I paid $45 for them or otherwise, I want them out of the house. And this is what I was saying, is that wasted me $300 going to the op shop, where I could have just gone through my suppliers, could have went through Facebook Marketplace and had the stock come to me. So that's why I'm a bit touchy when people say thrifting. And well, I'm in the dark. Yes, I know, but calm down. But when, like I was saying, is that to me, this is purely my point of view. And by all means, let me know in the comment section, and Tori can have his 2 seconds before I cut him off in a minute. Is that you really need to mature to a business model where you've got that stock coming in. And I think it's a common trend across your videos, Tori, and a couple of videos that I watched otherwise as well, with people, they're rolling the dice, they're chancing it. It's almost like playing Dungeons and Dragons every time you go to the op shop, that you roll the dice and you hope for a critical to actually pick something up. And it's becoming more and more complicated, more and more against you, because a lot of the pricings here, and I have said this to Brad and Jazz before, is that I used to pick up Levi jeans for $6 a pair, $7 a pair. Didn't like them. I would have preferred to go into a wholesale model where I pick them up, then flog them onto $10, $12 for someone else to sell. But that's a thing of the past here now. Levi jeans are $25, $30, which is quite consistent.
It's utterly batshit.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I get a bit ippity and all those different things when you see.
I will, Sandra. I promise.
See, I can't help myself. This is why Grumpy Granny's gone into hiding, Sandra, is because I can't stop talking. I fill the void. I think Tori's met his match. But Tori, while you're talking,
I'm being polite. You're the host.
So, I suppose, do you have a plan B, Tori? Like, if the op shops become continuing the trend they are, what would you go to from that?
I think, like, I know we joke around a little bit, but that is a really good question. Do I have a plan B? Look, guys, for the longest time, anyone who watches my show, he's looking for a Tim Tam. Get stuffed, dude.
No, he's walking, apparently. It won't be Midnight J. Like, he still haven't picked his body up.
Basically, when I started this, I was working full-time at a clothing factory. I would thrift and have no freaking idea. Sometimes I feel like I still don't know. But I think it's more about the fact that now I'm trying to educate myself. And, like, I don't agree with this whole, you've got to have, like, X amount ASP, but I've got to find better things. And so even though I still have all that colorful toys and other bits and pieces, now it's more like when I got started, guys, I mean, I say, don't do what I did. You'll end up with a little baby offsite storage room with hundreds of tubs filled with rubbish. If you don't start carefully, there's room for everyone. There's stuff for everyone, but you got to look harder and better. A lot of the stuff that I had at the beginning, folks, was basically boxes that I volunteered at one of the at a Vinnie's, and they were throwing stuff out, but it wasn't because it was trash. It would literally come in and not make it to sorting, and I would be like, "Oh, what are you going to do with that?" And they're like, "We're throwing it out because we don't have room." And I'd be like, "I'll give you $20 for the box," and there'd be like 400 items in this box that I was getting for $20. But now, and I got addicted to that because it's part of the, I don't know, part of that thing that a lot of us have going on, that slight hoarding thing that, and the dopamine rush that we get from,
window licking.
Well, look, I've tried once. I didn't like it so much, so I stuck to buying too much stuff that I didn't know the value of. So
window licking's cheaper.
It is, but if there's spray and wipe on it, and then you have a crack at it, it burns your tongue.
Just when it's been done with Dettol. But I think going back to your story, Sean, I have had many quips at it and how it's set up, and I'm expecting the next time that Boris might get a friend in the Ghost of the Garage.
It'll be, Hey there, guys. Uncle Flip here.
I was going to say, be asking for channel memberships and super chats coming through. Then they'll know it's Uncle Flip. But I think with as much as I take the piss out of your storage shed, you're infinitely better with your storage shed than what I am. And I think Minion Jay's shown previously, because I've got my storage shed up in Newcastle, which is about 6 hours away. I put board games, and I don't know if you can really see them in the background, but we'll pretend you can. That stuff in the corner.
You can, but there's a Gaussian blur.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. That's the camera. So I don't have the blur effect in the background. You just have to, take it part and parcel. Just take it on a good authority. They've got a box of Dark Souls board games over there. But going back, I got a letter last week from the storage shed saying that they're upping my rent to $300 a month from $270. My storage shed compared to Tori's is probably 15% full. So I'm literally storing stock that has a very, very, very low sell-through rate. By all means, the board games are quite profitable for what I'm paying. However, I would rather them be here than me paying $300 because that's diminishing that profit margin. Yes, it's good for a tax write-off, but primarily it was to give my parents some extra income. So, when I was primarily doing Lego, it was chock-a-block with Lego. I've lost interest in Lego because it's becoming quite competitive, and the Lego stores are more prevalent over here in Australia now. Before they weren't. You really could get it Big W, or you'd have to go online and get it from that way. But because
I was shocked. They're now even at the airport. You can buy Lego at the airport.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
You're absolutely right. Lego is also, I would say, guys, for a lot of it, like what Octo said is 100% correct. Like you spend, I used to be, not in the reselling part of Lego, but I used to be fairly, I don't know the right way to say it, but a person in the Australian Lego community. Like I still am an admin for, I just got a bit of power failure then, so are we still there?
You still there, Tori?
Oh, yes, I am. The power died all of a sudden here.
Are you there? Are you there?
Oh, you're messing with me. Okay. It's all about Lego is a very long game. So you'd have to spend X amount to get that little free set, which I used to really buy into. I run the Amazing Brick Network. It's been around for a long time. I'm not that active in it, though. My admins look after it. But that'd probably be one of the biggest groups of Lego people on Facebook. There's about 600,000 members spread across all the different groups. But now it's like I've started selling some of the Lego that I bought years ago, and some of it is only minimal return on my investment. Some of it I've crushed, not physically, but, I've done well. But I agree. It's a really hard game now, especially for brand new in box. There's not a lot going to the op shops. A lot of it doesn't make it even out onto the sales floor. Like I know in Geelong, there's two predominant Lego people, and I would almost suggest that nearly every op shop in Geelong holds it for them.
Is that on Rick James Bricks, or is he not close?
He's a Melbourne guy. I don't know. I only know who he is. I don't know anything about him. Yeah, these are people who are really good for the community. But I noticed, one day I was thrifting, as I do, and they were going around buying Lego, and people literally at 3 places I saw them. The staff go out, get tubs, and then bring it to the front, and they were paying like $20 for a massive tub.
Yeah, and when I was, Tori could probably, if anyone's interested in selling Lego in the chat, we can we can tell you some hints and tips and go from that way. But the sweet spot for Lego was obviously when things would retire. So Lego would have like a life cycle on a particular set. A lot of the creator sets, such as the modulars, like your Palace Cinema, your Firehouse, your Monster Houses, and all these different things. If it's got Halloween, it's got Christmas, or it's got something else attached to it, it will have longevity. But the sweet spot was actually buying it just before it retired. Then all the resellers and all the people that would Lego invest would be snapping it up. So you could probably get 15, 20, 30, 40, 50% profit in that window, probably 3 or 4 months after it's been announced as being retired. But now, like Tori was saying, is you have to leave it in cold storage for quite a long period of time. That's not conducive with doing it if you're paying $300 a month in rental space. So if you particularly storing 100 Lego sets for $300 a month, I'm not doing the math, someone else can do in the chat, then you're having to wait 4 or 5 years for them to make a 100% profit margin or something like this. Something you can go to the op shop, or you can go on Facebook Marketplace and buy something and flip it probably 30, 40, 50% straight away, or have that 4 or 5 X amount of times and box condition as well. Is like Funko Pops, you know. And what I have swipes of people with Funko Pops all the time. Lego collectors are fanatics with boxes. I can tell you right now. So it is more trouble than it's worth. Yeah.
So getting to the storage, then it sounds like for you it'd be better to eventually empty out. For me, with always total transparency, I currently pay $535 a month for that 4x6. I also, though, as I do say, guys, I don't like at the moment. I'm literally in the lounge room. It's our home. We own it, but it's really small.
I thought you were a professional studio with a Tory Geelong Flipper background. I thought you must have hired at a radio station.
No, that's actually a really $20 green screen that's precariously holding onto a digital image.
My green screen's on the other side of the garage. I can see it. Boris, bring it over.
So yeah, for me, the offsite, the Storage King presents opportunity for us to have a workspace that is just about the work. It gives me an area to produce my YouTube show and go through things and candidly say, hey, I got this, I spent too much on it, or hey, this was a great deal. So we do write it off as a tax write-off, but it also is a viable workspace that we do spend most of our day working and listing in. I prefer listing at home, but we do use the offsite. We've got a big power bank and all that sort of stuff because these places aren't powered. So yeah, I use that, and the battery pack has 10 hours charge to use laptops and everything like that, and lighting.
And they get really cranky if you try and use a little bit of their power as well, don't they?
They absolutely do. Yeah, when the first time they it's funny. I don't know if any of the rest of you guys sort of work out of a space like that, but you literally have a big roller door, and we've got the shelves at the front to block most of the view. But it's like whenever people are coming past, it's like you hear a car, and it's like, it's like, what's in there? What's in there? It's the unknown. It's like, and I remember one of the people who works there was in, and she's like, how do you have a fluorescent light running on the roof? And so I had to go through and literally prove that it was on a power bank. Because of fire risk, we take the power bank with us when we leave.
Yeah, because my storage shed up in Newcastle, it literally has a power point, about a meter away from the door. So my parents used to run a power lead with a little, it's like one of those little shed lights just to get the Lego they needed to get, or get whatever they needed to get out of the storage shed. I got a 100. Well, I don't know why you're here. Go somewhere else. But Boris is giving his 2 cents worth. He said, "Why am I here?" And when you were talking to her, I don't know if you heard, he asked you to stop. So he's being
that he won't be the first or the last person.
So he's been quite personable tonight. He's been quite personable. But yeah, like I was saying, is that I got a $120 bill, or a fine for using power without being a part of my contract. And what they did then is actually put little power locks on it. So they actually put like a key lock on the PowerPoint chart.
Yes.
So, which is, to me, it's bullshit, right? Like, you're paying $300 a month for a storage shed, which quite honestly is probably the size of maybe half of my double garage. And I think I was quite adamant against storage sheds, and I'm quite adamant against death poles and all those different things. And I'm not particularly happy with the way Tory stock levels are going. And he's taking steps to remediate that. But when you see people buying warehouses, or renting warehouses and having cages coming out their ears, but I suppose I never really took a thought to someone in your situation, Tori, where you've literally got limited space. You don't have an option to do anything other than having that storage shed. Where I've got the luxury of a double garage. I've got shelving behind me, as you can see. I've got, I won't show you the other side because you probably will judge me. It is quite horrendous. A lot of military stuff that probably needs to go back to the clothing store. But I do want to move the stock back down here because that could be $300 better spent somewhere else. So
100%.
Yeah.
For us, it's been a lifesaver, and there were cheaper options around. And just the reason why I chose the place that we're at is because sometimes we'll be there together, and sometimes we won't be there. We'll be there by ourselves, and there's security there. There's always someone there. There's lights outside. There's security cameras. And considering that my whole life it's insured, but I was to lose all that stuff, it would really hurt my business. So the books do provide a small amount of income, but it's in the hundreds of dollars a month. It's not, you don't make a lot of money out of book royalties, sadly, especially as a self-published author.
Yeah, and I do want to swipe about a bit later. I just want to catch up in the chat. David, how are you? Trisha, that's right. He sure does. Yeah, I don't know that. We're probably about 4 hours behind in the comments. So we're going to try and relate it to the conversation we currently have. So yes, yeah, Tori sure does have lots of back stuff in his catalogue. It's very refreshing to hear that our reselling community has many neurodivergent people. I've got both ADHD and autism. And if I missed up on words, I do apologise. These eyes are painted on, as you can probably see. It's not closed. We're still going. Thank you. I found structure. This is quite a relevant content to comment to have a fight with Boris is about, isn't it? When we're talking about ADHD and autism, and then all of a sudden I'm fighting with an imaginary ghost. Maybe he's got autism as well, Starry Wolf.
Oh, Wolf, you don't have to correct yourself. It's okay.
That's right. He's back. Hey, Chris, here you go, mate. I haven't seen you for a while. Op shopping brings me joy, Trisha. Yeah, and like I said, I can see it in limitation, and I think I went too heavy on it. And I'm quite aware, and I'm quite not aware if that contradicts myself. But when people like Tori puts out a daily video and he's got op shopping footage and all those different things, to me that's all he does. Yeah, like I said, I'm only getting probably an hour slither of his life or his day. When I'm seeing that's highly op shopping and all those different things, I kind of think to myself, well, there's probably people need to start thinking about their plan B, because if I'm seeing prices go like I am in Canberra, I dare say it's across the board. And I want people to succeed. I want people to obviously work out how they can build their business and how they can build an income and how they can financially support themselves. It's just that they need to start thinking outside op shops and all those different things. Stay out of the sky.
It is making it harder and harder. I started the channel, one, to show people things, but also was a love of books that got me into reselling. I wanted to have because I was working at the time, but I wanted to express that love and show, like, where I was volunteering, they were literally throwing out thousands of books a week. Like, and this is a thing behind the scenes that is also reprehensible, that our government funds the op shops, literally gives them money to throw stuff out. They get a dispensation, a tax cut, and a dispensation to throw stuff out. So where I was at, they would fill up those massive, the dumpsters that the trucks tip in behind them. They would empty 2 of them a week of books. And then so I started filming what they were throwing out, because it just made me angry. They wouldn't even give them away, like to schools, or send them off to communities that may need them. And so I got involved with that sort of thing, and that was the purpose, though. I wanted to give people a love of books again, if possible, and I also wanted to show struggling, like, single parents or people who may have lost their jobs, like, and this is what does make me angry sometimes about the reseller space on YouTube, is if you buy a book for 50 cents and you sell it for $13, it may not be a lot of money, but it may be the thing that lets someone eat that day. So I think there's a really important space there, but I also think that I think the op shops are getting horrifically lost. And I know it's partly because they see what we do, they see what I do, and they go, well, he bought that Cause toy for $7 and got $2,000 for it. Oh, all toys must be expensive. Let's bump the price up. Right. You've got people, and also you've got in that space, you've got a combination of, you've got volunteers and you've got people who call themselves volunteers, but they're actually doing their work for the dole. They've got their 15-hour a week that they have to do to get paid. And you know what? Good on them, because a lot of people, myself included, can't always work in traditional workspaces, but they're just clocking in and clocking out. And they're under a lot of pressure too. Get all this stuff out, do. So they just and prices are whack. And then you'll have the op shops where the managers, they think they're comping stuff for eBay, and they're not eBay. They're sort of like, they've forgotten their place in the pipeline, and there is space for everyone, but it's just about education. And I don't honestly think we are going to be able to shake that apple tree enough to readjust it. There's too much profit required. You've got CEOs traveling. You've got very corporate entities now. I try where possible to go to the smaller op shops. Like you'll see me at Savers, but the reason why I like Savers in Victoria, guys, if you're not familiar, in other states we have Savers. It's a for-profit thrift opportunity, and I do like it. I like the fact I'm going in there. Typically, I pay a little bit more than I might, but then again, in some places, the Savers are cheaper than the op shops now, which is crazy to me. But they're putting stuff out constantly because the employees are being paid to do it constantly. There's none of that BS. The stuff just comes out, and I'd rather sometimes pay a little bit more and know that the quality's better, that it's a better experience for myself and for my customer, even if the profit isn't always as high.
Yeah, and I suppose I want to put a caveat on what I said a little bit earlier about the prices on op shops, and I think I've said this numerous times before. I don't mind paying up, on certain things, right? If a pair of jeans, for example, those True Religions. I was talking to Chris Furlong a couple of weeks about them ago. He goes, "Oh, you probably get $90 plus at the very low end on them." I can't remember exactly what he said, but $45 in a night is probably a little bit too high. So please don't do that.
Yes,
but like I was saying, with your core styles, if it's legitimate, it's genuine, it's going to bring back $1,000, I'd be willing to pay $200 for that, or $300 for that, especially depending on the quick flip side of the things. I don't mind paying the thrift shop. I don't mind paying the op shop $200 or $300, but it becomes painfully, I can't think of the word for it, but painfully painful. You're the author, Tori. Fill in the words. Justice is good, Boris.
Agonizingly painful.
Well, no, apparently we're going with justice, according to Boris. So thank you, Boris.
Justice painful.
That
sounds like a sheriff.
Painfully justice. But what it is that I see Vinnies around here doing it, right? So they've got a little Vinnies around in Belconnen, which is a suburb across from me. They were selling toys the other day, Mighty Maxes. I think they wanted $70 or $80 for them. And they're saying that they're selling on eBay for $60, $70. Perfectly fine. I picked up a couple of the lower end ones because I remember playing with them when I was a little octopus, had them for my own collection. No issues with that. But where it comes issue is that they're comparing themselves, which is traps. Well, get out of where you are. But anyway, enough of Boris. But going back to what I'm saying is that they're saying that they're selling on eBay for, just say $100. They have the foot traffic of maybe 100 people a day. Look at your listing analytics of how many people look at your listings, your listing impressions, and many people are using eBay on a daily basis. They cannot be pricing on the basis of eBay because they don't have the foot traffic. They're literally waiting for the right person to walk in and pay this amount. I would rather them pay, all right, it's on eBay for $100. Let's list it as $25. Who cares if Tori comes in? Who cares if, Peachy comes in or, the two Aussie thrifters come in and grab it and make a profit on us? We're clearing through the stock. We're making... And I actually got kicked out of an op shop here because I had a fight with the manager. I called him a wanker, and some reason he kicked me out of the store.
I don't get that. I don't get it.
He had a bachelor's degree, so he knew more than me. That I kind of enlightened him that I'm a benevolent dictator that's got plans of taking over the world, and called him a wanker, and he kicked me out. But his stance is that, regardless if the item's serviceable or not, it's selling on eBay. So, games or things. Yes, I am trying to start my conversation, but things that hadn't been checked, DVDs that have got scratches in them, games that got scratches in them, because they're selling on eBay for $100. He was content to put them up for $100. Where I would be like, everything in the shop's $5. At the end of the day, at 4 o'clock it goes to $1. Whatever's left over, it's trash. No one wants it. Cycle through again. Start again the next day. Something along the lines of that. You would be making more money over a projected period, clearing stock out, having that stock moving on a constant basis than you would be. Having it sitting on the shelf just to go, oh, look how fantastic we are. We've got a $1,500 handbag on the shelf.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. The issue is there, Octo, is that they'll put that high price on things. They'll have it sitting up there. And like you said, I do believe there should just be set prices for some items, but they'll have that expensive item up there. And then people like me, like you guys, the viewers, you'll go in and go, oh my God, that's expensive. Won't buy it. The next week you come back in, it's still that price because they haven't marked it down. And then you're like, oh, bugger that. I'm not coming back here. And, it just hurts them. Get it in because you're getting it in for free. Clear it out. Like Octo said, just make it that people just snatch it up, that your shop is the one that they're excited to get to, rather than literally, we call a local place here like our expensive friends because they set it up like a boutique. And you can't afford to buy clothes there, even if you needed clothes for yourself.
No, and if you see me doing this, it's because we're 55 minutes into the chat, and I can do cocaine now. So, moving along from that, don't worry, I'm not doing that. Before I get demonetized, well, I'm not
I was about to say you're going to start getting comments. My children watch this; they think it's a cute octopus sniffing
That's
coke.
exactly right. They're definitely the wrong area for that. Now I'm taking. I need being out of the octo tank and out of the salt water. I need some cough lollies, so that helps me. But
we did see commentary in the chat there. Peachy was like, he just said, would be interesting to see how many full-time resellers are paying superannuation. And I think that's a good question. It is one of those things, Peachy, where I guess it all depends on the individual. For me, I do pay myself super because all I'm going to do is rob myself. I'm 52, so I do want to have that structure there. I think you're right, though. A lot of people would be, because there are certain thresholds, and this is where Octo and I are on the same page. Like, we don't, not giving financial advice, but anyone who's not paying themselves toward their own future or paying tax, like my 90-day total is 21,000 as of today. I live quite a frugal lifestyle, though. Like, my little house doesn't cost that much a week in the mortgage and my other expenses. So, but I still have to, it's going to be enough that I have to pay tax. And I think any guys out there who think they can be doing this and not being found out, it's crazy, because when you do go in and do your tax, I mean, you have all your banking information, but yeah, for myself, Peachy, it's a good question. I appreciate it. I am paying tax and super. I'm hoping I'm calculating it all correctly, because I'm doing my own books at the moment. But we'll find out at the new financial year.
That's right. So just for complete transparency, that's mine there. I don't know if you can see it.
Can I have it?
Yeah. So like I said, I really hate when people, for me, like I said, I'm quite vocal about someone that runs a bookshop in Goulburn, and someone that runs something up on the Gold Coast where they're doing it full time. Yeah, it kind of hurts me, like when people say, hey, look, you're just jealous and all those different things like that. Hopefully gives you a stance of where I'm sitting at on my 90-day total, right? So I'm not saying that's profit, that's gross, and obviously all those different things, but these little toys, they are quite profitable. So, and I'm only doing it maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. So I'm working 180 hours a week. So it's fantastic. We will catch up on the comments. So Peachy, 4 hours ago, he said he only goes to one shop and spends 20 minutes on the way home. Yep. So Forrest says, depends if you're doing it for a living or on the side. Yeah, like I said, that if you're doing it for like a side hobby or something like that, it's not too bad to pop into the op shop and hope for the best. And most, like I said, you're lucky if you see something. You're lucky if you don't. But if you are doing it full time, or you are thinking about doing it full time, strongly suggest, like Tori was saying, is that do what's best. Get all your stuff teed away first. Your taxes, get all your finances teed away, and all those different things as well.
It is. And one of the things, I guess, guys, and this is where I do encourage people, and I think that's why the Aussie community is good. It's like, for example, mine's 21,000. I have been taking full, reselling, not to lower the mood. Maybe it's my mum talking on your phone there, actually, Octo. But mum died last year, and that's not the laughter point, but making the joke about the phone was. So the first part of my financial year wasn't that awesome, but I think it was in about November, I held up my phone to the camera for the first time and said, here's my 90-day total, and it was only $4,700. We'd already saved a bit of money as a bit of a fallback, but since then, so since October to now, I've grown it to 21,000, and I do want people to know that you guys, you can do it too, but just it's baby steps. If you do it like that, I do believe the baby steps will be steps that you can repeat. Do I have a plan B? No, I don't. Unless one of my books sells hundreds a month, but the rest of them just sort of tinker along, and there's no way, like Amazon just made the royalties even harder to get. So no, I don't have a plan B, so I've got to make sure plan A is solid, and that's why I'm learning every day, and that's why I show the vlogs every day, Octo, just so as I can say, hey, I screwed up today. Oh, that was a good day. I'm having an autism meltdown. Look at me have a panic attack. Watch me eat a toasty. I don't know. I get such joy out of my life I think as resellers, no matter what your status, it's such a privilege to be able to find stuff that other people want.
Yeah, and I hear the toasties are a bane of some people's existence, but even I had a few comments in Instagram. It was like, that guy eats toasties. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So, sorry for it. And I think some people have got, I can't remember what the word is for it, because I know I suffer it when cats are grooming themselves. There's a sound that really upsets people, and there's a proper term for it. But yeah, I forget that I'm mic'd up and I'm crunching through, and it upsets people. It's kind of bad, like it's a vlog. I actually put it up as a poll on the channel, and most of my Flip family were like, nah, do you keep eating. It's all good.
Well, that's what it comes down to, right? Like, and I said, yeah, and I made it pretty obvious. I said, look, hey, I listen to him. There's background noise when I'm doing everything else. Like, I'm not there watching, shoveling food into his mouth, so I can't really comment one way or another.
That is what it's about. I realized, I know that the long form videos are background noise, and it was a while ago. I just realized that, like, I'm lucky that my love is a full-time reseller as well, so we get to spend time with each other. But for a lot of people, their partner doesn't understand what you're doing, and it can be a lonely experience. And I thought, well, I'm doing this stuff anyhow, and I do chat to myself all day. I'll just leave the camera on, and even if I can just be that friend that hangs out with you for an hour that you don't really pay that much attention to, every now and then I might say something that you go, oh crap, or it can be reassuring. I think there's a place for the long form video. There's also many places that it may be annoying to people.
Yeah, I like the long form content, especially when Minion Jay was doing it as well. Like, yeah, you dribble for a couple of hours, and it was, yeah, people do like that. Some people like the shorter form content, but everyone's got their own, requirements of what they need and what they go from that perspective. So, hey, Putty, how you going, mate?
Pretty much prepared.
Ledbetter, it's a red light. It's a great It's a great setup. Are we talking about green screen?
No, coffee. Love you, coffee. You're talking about the offside. I know that we sort of got a little bit lost in keeping up with some of the comments there. Starry Wolf remembers the Mighty Max toys. Oh, sorry, you've got to click on them, don't you?
Yeah, I got to catch up.
I won't go reading them.
I'll burn through the comments really quickly. Yeah, I got a huge garage sale. I got a huge garage. Good. Yeah, like I was saying, if you've got a garage, please by all means don't invest in a storage shed. Like, unless you absolutely
definitely don't. I would love to have a garage.
So yeah, like I said, is that I was quite. I just had an epiphany tonight. It's like not everyone lives in a suburban house with a double garage that they have that material. And by all means, don't run out and buy expensive shelving and all these different things. These shelves behind me, I picked up from Costco. I think they're $199 each. I've got 4 of them in the garage, but I bought them over a period of years and used money to offset that. Do not start reselling. Do not watch a YouTuber at the start of the year, like you see the financial year. You'll see them at the calendar year saying, if you're selling reselling, go out and buy $15,000 worth of shelving, go buy, all these storage containers and all these different things. Stay away from that. Stay in one tub until you sell through. Because the likelihood, majority of the people that I speak to, like the start of the year, even on the show, Grumpy Granny as well, they disappear. Like I said, especially in the Lego sphere, I've spent hours and hours helping people, telling what to look for and all these different things. Then by next week, they've lost interest in selling Lego and you never hear from them again. So just be very mindful of the fact is that it's got a high attrition rate of reselling. So if you are here and you have been here for quite a long time, you're probably one of the 10 or 15% that have made it to the people that haven't. So a lot of storage unit shops sleeping and using storage units as an online shop. Cabin bulk in the backyard. That's cool. I need one of those. Give me one of those. Yeah, I agree.
I'm jealous of you.
Apparently Sandra doesn't like what Boris has been saying. He's been quiet. That's good. All up shops are now going to sell online. Yeah, and that's something that I suppose I'm quite scared of as well. I do source online, so I do use eBay to pretty much buy on eBay. I'm going to give a bit of an insider secret. There is one particular Skylander, and I've said this numerous times before. If it's holding its hand, shush! I just said you've been quiet. So basically, long story short, I haven't got one on me at the moment. I'm really bad with things to show. I can't think of the word. I've lost my train of thought. But long story short, if he's holding one thing in one hand, he's worth $2. If he's holding it in the other hand, he's worth $55. So I'm looking on eBay because people just people on eBay sell Skylanders. They've been watching my YouTube channels. I'm not going to say exclusively, but pretty much I reckon I am probably the driving force for Skylanders, flooding the market. And they will list him for $10 with free postage. I'll scoop him, pick him up because he's the $55 variant. So if you do find a niche, and this is something that I want to have a go at Tori as well, but we are running. Please let me know, Tori, if you need to go. But niching down as well is something you probably want to be looking at in the longer term. By all means, if you're starting out, being an everything seller, work out what you like, what you can get access to. But as you become more and more time poor, I suppose, for lack of a better term, like with Tori, just having his partner and 16 cats, you probably get away with it a little bit more. But if you have a family, if you have an online job and all those different things, you could probably wanting to look at niching down at some capacity. But that's purely my example. That's probably my point of view. So, choose your own adventure. I don't particularly care.
And that is valid for me personally. And this is like, I like the idea of it. Sorry, what's the fake voice saying to you, mate?
It's foolish. Next week, if Tori comes back again for another week, I'll have Boris set up for his own little microphone, so you'll be able to hear him as well.
We may have to we could even keep it interesting. If you guys are enjoying this, we'll do it between the two channels. So move it backwards and forwards, and that'll be a great way of exposing you guys in the chat to different people, and we can all grow as a community. For me personally, I like the idea of niching down, and something I'm going to be talking to Octo or Minion J about. I do talk about them. I know it sounds ridiculous, but basically these guys, I love them. I think that might be fun to do a YouTube channel about. I can't stress the importance of having social media friends, whether it's YouTube or Instagram. Push it out there. If you're comfortable with the camera or not, you can still have a YouTube camera and don't show your face. Actually niching down as such, I don't know. For me personally at the moment, like, I'm not the most successful reseller. I'm not the worst either, but I use categories, and that's why I've got the store subscription. There's been a lot of people wondering about that lately. I think if you're going to get into it seriously, a store subscription is a nice way to niche without niching, because then you've got the categories. But I also do respect your hustle greatly. It's just, for me, I like being an everything seller. I like looking around at everything. And I think that may be a little bit of, don't know if it's the autism or the ADHD or just genuine curiosity. It's more just like, I like learning as much as I can. I do. I love life, and I like learning new things all the time. So being an everything seller lets me do that.
Yeah, and I found this is probably why I dropped down to $13,000 when I was doing full time, because I was an everything seller, right? I find that I become grossly invested in things. So with Skylanders, right, is that probably the part of the reason why I'm probably top 5 in Australia for selling them is because I did a deep dive right into the Skylanders. I know them back to front. I know exactly what I'm looking at. I know I've never played a game other than to test them, all these different things. But I can't do that as an everything seller. I need to get my head around all these different things. The inner secrecies, become almost like an expert in that particular niche. And that personally, to me, and my style of reselling is that I love niching for that particular reason. I can become the powerhouse of the knowledge for all those different things. And to do jeans and to do Skylanders, to do board games, to do everything across the spectrum, it would send me insane. And that was
which spectrum? Our special spectrum? Or...
all of them.
The autism part of me collects this.
That's right, and that's right. Like I said, that I think knowing your customer base is gives you, like, the niche gives you the ability to know your customer base as well. Is that, and I think I've said numerous times before, the people that collect Skylanders, the people that I deal with the Skylanders, they are heavily on the autism spectrum, or they are on the ADHD spectrum. Not taking the piss. By all means, I'm not being rude or trying to take them down a notch. It's just a common thing that I'm discovering across dealing with them locally and otherwise. Because I know how they are, probably because a little bit of ADHD and probably a little bit of window licking on my behalf, is that I know how to market to them. When I create YouTube videos, that I know that the kind of content they like, they don't want me sitting in front of the camera picking up a Skylander and going, "Hey, I sell this for $4.99." They would be heartbroken if they incorrect apparently, but they would be heartbroken if they thought of me as a reseller opposed to actually one of them, with a love for the Skylanders and all these different things. So with that niche, and like I'm saying, is that you can build your customer base. You know who you're marketing towards, and like Tori was saying, build a dedicated social media presence, not targeting other resellers. If you are going to do reselling content, by all means, have one like the Geelong Flipper, the Disgruntled Octopus, but create a secondary social media presence for your customers. Like when we get onto YouTube, we're not selling to you. Selling to resellers is retarded because I probably shouldn't say that. But the fact of the matter is that resellers are tight asses. The fact of the matter is you're not going to be selling top dollar to to a fellow reseller. So if you can work out who your customer base is, who people you want to sell to, go from that way. So
yeah, I agree with that. It's funny though. Sometimes it's like you because like the show we predominantly are resellers, and then you'll get like a an offer that you go, I don't want to sell it for that price, but it's like someone who watches.
Yeah.
So it's just funny.
Yeah, and it's just part and parcel. Like I said, that everyone does their own little different things and different ways they do things. So, like I was saying, it's always good to get different points of view. Like I was saying, sometimes I'm very closed-minded in the sense that I'll be screaming at the YouTube screen and the mobile or the TV saying, "Why are you doing it that way? You should be doing this and doing that for way." But it's always good to keep your mind open. Don't start aimlessly following people on the basis of just watching one or two people. So
yeah, look, I hear that, and that's one thing that, like, just jumping ahead in the chat, I can see about a comment about another YouTube reseller saying that now he only sells DVDs and video games and stuff like that. Now it's a tough one, guys. This is why we keep saying, just because I do something, just because Octo does something, doesn't mean it's right for you. And just because it's a wobbling head on a TV screen doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they know more than you. Please do check stuff, because yes, the person who is now saying that not so long ago was saying how much he hated those categories and everyone should be out of them. So same as so that just please be super careful. We respect the fact that like money is tight at the moment, and everyone's reselling journey is extremely different. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of your own finances. And just because someone on a channel tells you to do something doesn't mean you should do it. It means it might be something for you to look into, but it's just a tough one.
Yeah, I kind of do the opposite, and I cop a lot of flack. This is quite quickly before we wrap it up, because Tori's obviously going to get his beauty sleep. Is that I tell people
back during the war it wasn't like this.
That's right. That's exactly right. The nursemaid will be coming around soon with these tablets. But what I find is that I keep telling people not to get into Skylanders. Don't buy Skylanders. For the simple fact is that I've cornered that market. That you might come across a fantastic.
Don't buy Care Bears, guys. Don't buy Care Bears.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're garbage. They're only good for buying.
I suppose it extends to books and also extends to DVDs, right? So we're just going to use two other YouTubers and their primary niche, like DVDs and YouTube, books, for example. If they've cornered the market, I see a lot of people in Facebook groups saying, "Hey, look, I bought all these books and they won't move." Because the problem is that eBay kind of favors those people with sales history. That's why I use variation listings. That's why I use replenishable listings. I only take one photo, I just update the quality, because I've sold so many of the bloody things. You can go into my listings, you'll see 1,000, 2,000 sold. You popping along 3 times the price plus postage, you're never going to get a look in. Like you're really competing with. I know it doesn't make any sense, Boris. This is what I'm trying to say.
You've got to be kidding me. You told that to say that, didn't you?
No. Like I said, Boris is going off. But what I'm saying is
it's that massive brain in the.
it's the tear in the time space continuum. But Ashley, that's my sister's name. Oh, okay, cool. Maybe it's her. Can you take care of her for me? Just get rid of her. I need to get rid of you. Sure.
Wow.
If you watch one of my videos, you'll probably understand why. Close. Yeah, cool. But like I was saying, is you really need to be mindful of the fact, like Tom, from Goulburn, he's got his own DVD store. I can't remember what it is on the top of my mind. He always sets the markets on DVDs and CDs, so you'd be very hard pressed getting into that niche. You almost need to find a niche that's very underserved and to try and plant yourself in there and go from that way. So just be very, very mindful. If that sells for me or Tory for his. You can't stay.
I actually, yeah, I was going to say.
Thanks, but like I'm saying, just be very mindful. If you're watching us on YouTube, buying these things and selling them quite quickly, just look at different angles. And I think I put in a comment the other day is that you really need to work out what the motivator of the YouTube content creator is. Are they trying to sell you something? Are they trying to tell you something? Numerous times I've said, look, hey, Skylanders, just reach out to me and I'll pay you really good price and you can move them quite quickly because I've got the sales channel. So fairy cakes, cool. All right.
I think Fairy Cakes has actually got the adult cordial going on tonight. How you doing, Fairy?
He's telling me to look over here. I was like, well, I'm trying to catch up. Long story short, never seems to be short. That's right. I can't help myself, Hilly. This is the issue. I used to say perspective a bit. If you watch my Minion Jay's last video about the eBay promoted listings, he fell back into old habits of saying perspective very, 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 very few times. So I was crying when Uncle Flip told me about the skips of book being thrown away. Yeah, and that to me, I'm quite, I won't say skeptical. Skeptical is not the quite word, but don't go buying a skip of books for the virtue of that. Yeah, they're going to be thrown away otherwise. Because
no, please don't.
You're just creating issues for yourself further down in regards to probably mental health and like blocking up
suffering from burnout.
That's right. That's exactly right. So please don't go do that. Yes, it is sad, but don't go. Don't be the knight in shining armor. He's uncon tonight, probably. He's on now. He's not talking, but he's on.
I was going to say.
Chris collects things Megastore. I haven't seen you for a while, Chris. It's good to see you back, mate. Got my subscription.
Well done, coffee. Cool. Awesome.
How long do you think it'll just last doing that? Yeah, like I think it's quite skeptical, Peachy, in the sense that I just think he does it for clicks, mate. Like realistically, he's just doing it for content. He can't be really making that much money through his store. But hey, I'm not here. Well, I don't know what I'm asking. Calm down. ADHD part get bored of one category. Yeah, and I am finding that quite honestly, I'm finding that now. You can talk about your own afterlife, but with Skylanders, I got it to the point where it's the kids test them. I look at them to make sure they're complete. Then I put them in tubs and just change the numbers. So I am looking at, and that's why I went to board games, Dungeons and Dragons books, Warhammer books, Pathfinder, and all those different things, just to learn the new niche. To keep my brain busy in that respect. So like if you look at it from a perspective of Skylanders are bread and butter. The part of me that needs to be satisfied by looking into everything and squirrel and going out and buying $45 pairs of jeans. Yeah, I'd rather find something that I know exactly what I'm looking for, like Dungeons and Dragons books and stuff like that. So I agree. Yes, like have a look at the mystery pile.
Yeah, be careful, guys. There's currently an offer out there. You spend $100 on a mystery pile, and they reckon you'll get $300 for it. Don't do it.
Hilly, I know you wrote the comment 4 hours ago, mate, but you got your wish.
See, I can't see that information. So, hi everyone.
Most Care Bears aren't worth picking up. They look cool though. Yeah, and that's quite quickly before I wrap it up. And that's what Tori. Is something that working for Tori, right? And I try to do it very early on with those reversible octopus plushes, but they're actually a Vero on eBay sometimes. Because Tori's, the Care Bear guy. People will pick up the Care Bears and send it to him or tag him in Instagram posts. So he's building his social media network off stupid, colourful bears. Like, he may be running his own Mardi Gras. Who am I to judge? I don't particularly care one way or another, but he's resonating with those Care Bears and, quite possibly making a market of himself. And going back to what I was saying with Skylanders earlier, I might be able to sell a Skylander for $100 because, it's me and people, have seen my YouTube shorts, they see my YouTube channel, but you mightn't be able to sell it for $10. Exactly the same for Care Bears. Tori, he's built that presence regarding the Care Bears. He can sell it for $40, $50 where you mightn't get it for $15 with free postage. People resonate with people they see on YouTube and social media. This is what Tori was saying earlier about building that presence, and you can, build your own little niche. Put him in pud. If I was them, I'd be making cat content on Instagram and building, an army, an empire with
100%.
So
look, at the end of the day, I agree with the Care Bear stuff. Like it is one of those things. It's fun for me. It's fun for my viewers. We call them our little listing buddies. So there's a little, it's not the right way to say it because I don't have a lot of them, but it's selling the story it's the story and our sense of community that's selling them. I almost don't sell them to anyone who's not a viewer, because we all want our little listing buddies. And, it's like I said, this can be a solitary thing. So it's just more that, like, something bright, something cheerful. They're not great reselling sort of items. It is part of what my little flip family does.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right.
That's what our crew does. We've got our Care Bear to remind us to list.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It's Grumpy Granny's not here to chastise him, but it's the exact same thing with Skylanders. When I sell them the nostalgia, I sell them the dream. But with my YouTube shorts, I kind of set it up saying that this is a Skylander that's been lost to time. How about you give it a new home? It's very similar to your Care Bear system, where you have a purpose, you have a mentality behind that, and while you're actually moving that on. Yeah, if you are just saying, hey, look, buy my stuff that I just picked up from the op shop, you need to value add. I suppose that's a lot of things that get past resellers, is that if you can value add into that equation in some capacity, you can ask the bigger dollars. Be on social media, sell your cat toys, sell your Care Bear, sell your Skylanders, sell whatever resonates with you as an entity. If you don't know what you want, well, they can visit me later. But the thing is, though,
they're visiting now.
Yeah, that's right. They're at the door. But if you wanting to do something, go on ChatGPT and say, hey, look, I'm reselling Care Bears. Can you give me a persona, or can you give me something that I can use to leverage on? Then you can build over a period of time. You don't need to be on camera like Tori was saying. Put him at put. It could just be a cat and then just do a voiceover and do a 15-second short. Then all of a sudden they'll have whiskers chasing them down for sponsorships and promotion stuff and all onto that. Exploit your animals and exploit your children. Exploit your partners. Exploit anyone you can. Go down the street and exploit people. Exploit away.
They're almost words to live by, aren't they?
That's right. Exploit as much as you can. Worlds of wisdom. Good evening, Geektopia. It's the hub. That's right, Starry Wolf. We're just catching up. I'm going to let Toby go. Toby's.
Are you a big Tory? And Joe just messaged me. He goes, "You look bored." Thanks for nothing, dude.
Yeah, burnout was for me. I was exhausted till the fellow reseller, and I know now. The disgruntled yapper. I can't help myself. This is the problem. Mystery piles are drunk. Yes, good point there. I agree. Good points.
Please tell me you said mystery pile of drunk.
Yeah, probably. It's getting to that point where my medication's starting to wear out.
Oh no.
I can't see you either, Boris. This is the issue, right? So what are we going to do now? We'll give it up for a couple of seconds. I need to peel off it in 3 minutes' time. So once again, Tori, tell us where they can find you.
Okay, guys, you can find my channel, Geelong Flipper, Instagram, Geelong Flipper, eBay store, Geelong Flipper. You can find my books on Amazon by searching for Tori Favreau.
Yes.
And on Facebook, we are the Geelong Flipper family.
I have put all these details in the description of this video. So if you're rewatching it after live, God help us if you got to 1 hour and 23 minutes and 8 seconds into it. You can probably just put it on 4 times speed and just hear me talking for the whole video. So Tori,
I like that. The comment and it is like the ADHD thing. It's like Tori needs a few fidgets. I'll remember that for the next live, because my brain is going.
Yeah. I think I said that before. Is that the problem with me? My medication hasn't kicked in quite as well as I knew. And by all means, Tori, if you're the same with this, I think about 4 or 5 sentences at the same time. I'm like 4 or 5 sentences in my head, ahead of myself, and my mouth tries to say them all at the same time. That's why,
correct.
When I get quite passionate, I keep talking, and Grumpy Granny used to love that. So
that is particularly what happens for me with the books. So I'll have 4 or 5 books on the go at the same time, because the voices in my head are saying something for that book, but then they're saying something else for another. So I'll be like,
yeah, and it hasn't been going down too well. I've been trying to build like a bit of a lore with the octopus on the channel posts, but some people have been resonating with it. It hasn't really been resonating with other people. But I think I've said before, I normally sleep with a notepad next to my bed. Then what I'll do is I'll actually jot notes down and kind of fill it out from that perspective as well. But
I've been enjoying it. I honestly have. I think it's good. Any sort of creativity that people do like that, it should be appreciated and celebrated.
Yeah,
and it's been interesting as hell.
Because the fact of the matter is, and this quite quickly before I wrap it up, is that a lot of people used to ask the origin of the octopus, right? So I'm trying to flesh it out kind of like a Eldritch horror, Cthulhu, kind of stance. Very, very Silent Hill, very Resident Evil, like, obviously, that.
Now you're talking.
Like kind of, 1940s, 1950s, origins, and go from that way. And like I was saying, is that I don't know, and I've released 2 times a day. So I know you're enraged. Calm down. I'm wrapping it up. But the fact of the matter is, like I said, I release one in the morning, like a little bit of lore. Then obviously at night, just, tracking people, especially if they're neurodivergent. Some people, like you were saying earlier, Tori, is that they've got no one else to talk to. They've got, they just basically go from that. And this gives them a little bit of a community post where they can talk about stuff that they want to put down themselves. It doesn't necessarily need to be War and Peace, but they can put whatever they want to go down. And like I said, the other stuff is for shits and giggles, for my own outlet creativity. Take care if anyone likes it otherwise.
That is just as valid.
Thanks, Geetopia. Takes one to know one, Tor. I get it. So I don't know. I say lots of things. I've lost track of what I've got. Thanks, Graham. It's good to see you, mate. I can relate having all the voices. Yeah, the medication, I haven't been taking it for the last few days, but if I take it, the voices go away. Except for Boris, he's still here.
No, he's there to stay, I think.
Yeah, that's right. I can't get rid of him. But anyway, I will let Tori go. Thank you very much again, Tori, for putting up with us. Let me know.
Hey, thank you so very much.
You want to shush? I'm not talking to you. But yeah, like I say, let us know. Boris is going off. It's been quiet all day, and all just decides to just have a gas bag when everyone else is on. But like I was saying, if you do like this kind of content, let us know in the comment section below. Tori and I may be happy to team up again. Obviously, like you said, we'll just rotate channels and go from that way, just to build community, cross-contaminate communities and all those different things. Because like you're saying, I want people to. I'm quite big on mental health. I know Tori's got his challenges. I've got my challenges with a ghost. But besides that, I do want people to, obviously seek help and know that there's people there to support them or redirect them to where they can get support if they need it. I don't want people going by themselves. I don't want people, obviously, stewing on things or resonating or all these different things. Or, obviously. So do a lot of people. He wants me to go. I'm trying to wrap it up.
Something else that you can look at, folks, is if you have enjoyed this, please do support Disgruntled Octopus. If you're one of my crew, give this guy a subscribe. He does a lot for the community. But something else I would say to anyone who's about to leave, think of questions, topics that you may want us to tackle. Maybe I would love to do this again. I think it's been good. It's good for the community. Maybe think of things for us as a team to answer. So make sure that you're keeping those questions coming through, because without you guys interacting with us, it's really just two mates chatting. So, and that's good too, but we can address things from slightly different perspectives and from the neurodivergent perspective as well. So I think that's nothing to be sneezed at. So yeah, send your comments and questions through to Octo, to myself, and we'll be in touch during the week. And I would love to do it again, as long as you guys make sure that you're hitting that thumbs up and Octo knows he didn't waste his time.
Yeah, well, I waste my time most of the times. but having said that, like I was saying, is that I do want to put a caveat here, though. I know everyone's got very strong personalities, and that's part and parcel of being neurodivergent, right? Because I do say things which piss people off without meaning to say, is like in that respect. I try and communicate things and it comes across the wrong way. By all means, just be respectful. If someone has a different point of view than you, and they're not hurting anyone, like they're not telling you to buy $100 worth of mystery boxes or something like that. They're just telling you their own circumstances or their own situation, or the way they want to run out of a storage shed opposed to running it out of their house. Don't tear strips off them. Don't make them look like an idiot. Just be inclusive and everyone can get along. But that's it.
100%.
We'll see you later. Wait a sec. I'll get my tentacle. It's gone to sleep. I've been sitting on it all night. Bye.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Bye.